Gunningamerz here. Got a video for you today, the 2018 Gunningamerz PC build. Now if you guys been watching us over on our Twitch channel, you know what we've been up to lately. It's been a really busy year, but as you guys know, every 2 years I build another brand new gaming rig, and this year is no exception. The 2016 build is already ready to be used as the backup and the one that Aiden uses, and the 2014 build that we did just a couple years ago at the other house is ready to get put on Craigslist and sold. So it's kind of cool. We started out the video series back then talking about how you can, take care of your computers, keep them clean, and turn around and resell them every few years, and that way you stay with the latest and greatest hardware at minimal cost. It's still quite expensive, as you guys know, to get into PC gaming right now with the current cryptocurrency craze and several other factors that are going on right now, but we managed to pull this off. I started buying the parts back in September of last year of 2017 and finally picked up the last few things in January. I was really lucky with a couple of things like our graphics card here to get that right before they sold out, and they pretty much have doubled in price. So we got extremely lucky. Now people always ask me, how much did you spend for this build? Because it was spaced out over several months, don't have the exact to the dollar, but I know that it was right about $4,500. And if I was to build it in today's dollar, unfortunately, it would easily be $5,500 to even $6,000 for this computer. And I really hope this isn't the way things are going to keep going, because otherwise a lot of us might be not able to do as much with this great hobby of ours. But as I said, this is the third video that I've done now of the PC building, and we've gone full cycle, building the brand new, 2 years of full use, 2 years as backup, and now the 2014 build is going to be getting sold. And we're ready to retire the 2016 build. So let's talk about the 2018 build that we've got. Basically, I went with the X299 motherboard here from AORUS or Gigabyte. That's their brand there, and we've got the Gaming 7 version. I got a heck of a deal on this board back in November. I have no idea. I watched it for months. It dropped about $75 for like 2 days, and it's gone right back up to the regular price of about $400. So I paid $325. Just got real lucky on that one, and it's a very nice board. Now I know the question's going to come up why I chose the Intel over the new Threadripper from AMD. I looked into both of them quite a bit earlier, the end of last year, and did my research, and based on my needs, I have needs for more cores, but I also have much more need for higher core clock, and especially with like all the flight simming and things like that. And that was something that the 18-core Threadripper would not have delivered on very well. It would have been great for when I edit video and things like that, but it would have been overkill in the sense of what I would have been needing in game, and I think that my frame rates would have been possibly pretty terrible in some of those. So I went with the Champ here, the Core i9, which was a $1,000 processor. I think they're down around $950. That's what I paid, was $949 for it, I believe, or $939. But they're hovering right around $950-ish. Now this is a 10-core, 20-thread processor, so it'll definitely help out with the encoding, both editing, rendering videos rather, running, Adobe programs, basically, live streaming, running OBS, and obviously the games and things like that from the same rig. And still having my core clocks at about 3.3 gigahertz out of the box. This thing does turbo boost up to 4.3, and then it's got turbo boost 3.0 up to 4.5 gigahertz. Now, I am planning on getting at least a 4 gigahertz overclock out of these 10 core. I've watched a lot of videos with the cooling solution that I'm using. We'll talk about that in a second. A lot of people have been getting clock speeds up to 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 with a little bit of voltage increase, so we may definitely get up in that ballpark. That would be great because I'm coming off of a quad core, an i7, which is a quad core, 4 cores, 8 threads at 4.5, to a 10 core, 20 thread. Should get a huge boost in performance, but we'll have to see where we get with our overclocks. As far as the RAM goes, I went with 32 gigabytes of DDR4 from Corsair. I got their Vengeance this time around. I've gone with their Dominator the last time or two, but this was a great price, if you can say that. Very much overpriced. This is the one thing that kind of burns a little bit. I put it on my list in September at $299, and I finally had to pull the trigger at $420 on that. So about 120 bucks out the window on that one, but it was getting to be one of those things that I was worried if I was even going to be able to get my hands on RAM here with the way things have been kind of looking. So pulled the trigger. Hopefully the prices will come down for you guys, but I'm out of the game now for about 2 years, unless if something happens, which hopefully warranty will take care of that. But 3000 megahertz is what I went on there. Be plenty good if I start doing all that overclocking. I've got the XMP profile enabled, the whole 9 yards on that. So 32 gigs there. We want the 960 Pro here, which is by Samsung, of course, and that is an M.2 drive in a 1 terabyte. So this is my first M.2 drive. I'm pretty excited about this. As far as startup speeds and things like that, I mean, they're pretty quick. They are with a solid state drive as well. But I'm hoping that this thing will help me with loading all those huge scenery packs and things like that that we use from the flight simming, as well as some other things. These are basically a little chip. They basically plug right into the motherboard. Now, a speed comparison on one of these, basically on a regular traditional hard disk drive, a hard drive, you're going to be looking at about 150 megabytes per second of data transfer for read and write. With a solid state drive, you're looking at about 500 to 550 megabytes per second, and with one of these, you're looking at about 2,500 read and write speed. So quite a big jump there in performance. I'll be really excited to go ahead and use that. Moving over here, the fans that we're using on our CPU on the cooler, which we'll talk about in a second here, are the Corsair. These are the magnetic levitation fans. They're 40 bucks, so you're basically paying 20 bucks per fan. They come in a kit of 2. I highly recommend these if you're using the Corsair coolers, because I've had a lot of problems with the fans that they come with. Again, we'll talk about this in a second. But I went ahead and purchased these right out of the go. I ended up having to buy them about 9 months into my last build and switching them out because the ones that came with the cooler started grinding. And I know people that had bought one of these coolers around the same time I did, and the fans were getting noisy as well. I've been running these in the other rig for 1.5 years now, and there's not been a single noise, and they're excellent fans. So those are two 140s there, the magnetic levitation from Corsair. We've also got our, and this is all about the gaming, right? The 1080, the GTX 1080 Ti from Gigabyte, the AORUS, and that's got 11 gigabytes of DDR5. Again, I am so thankful that I got my hands on this one. This is the Xtreme edition. It's one of the fastest cards on the market when it comes to air cooling. This one's got 100 millimeter fans. It's got 3 of those on there. They actually spaced the fans apart, stacking them on top of each other, which we'll show in the picture, which allowed them to fit 3 larger fans which move more air and run very quiet through a massive oversized cooler that takes up about 3 slots. So that is the card I had my eyes on for a long time, and it felt so great to be able to get one. Like I said, there are no more of those out, and they're selling for about $1,500, $1,500 now. I was lucky enough to pay $7.99, so I only had to go $50 over MSRP. They're supposed to sell for $7.49. So jumping over to this side, we basically, again, got the cooler that we're going to be cooling this Core i9 with. This is the Corsair HX1000i. This is a 380 millimeter radiator. It's got 2 140 millimeter fans on there. It's got a nice pump. I used the exact same thing on my last build on my case, which we'll talk about in a second here. Had to do the same modification because this case only supports up to 240, and we had to custom drill holes in the top there to be able to fit that in, which again I did the same mod 2 years ago, and it's worked out excellent. Fit in there so nice, like it was meant to be there. I cut the brackets out that were in there that were blocking airflow, and just opened the whole thing wide open. So, and then lastly here, we've got the Corsair HX1000i, which is the model here that will sync up to your motherboard, or hook up to your motherboard rather, along with this, so it allows me to control all the fans, the temperatures, everything, monitor voltage, monitor pump, all that will be done through CourseLink. And it's very nice software, so we're using that. And I must admit, this is actually out of the last PC, the 2016 build. I had to use the 1000 because I can't get my hands on these. These got sold out. I had a chance to buy one for $200, which was about $50 more than I paid 2 years ago for two of them. And I was a little bit salty about that, and I kind of waited to see if the prices would go down. They actually went up to $250, and they're none out there. You can't get them. I had one on order for several weeks, and it never came, so I canceled the order, and I was able to pick up an HX1000i, and just got that in. That took a while, and I overpaid for that too, about $179. I can only imagine they were probably about $139 2 years ago, but I put the 850 in the 2016 build because that one doesn't quite draw as much juice. Actually, it only draws at max load about 550 watts. This one I'm estimating will be about another 100 watts on top of that, just because of the i9. And also the 1080 use a little bit more juice, so we'll probably only be pulling about 650, but I like having the 1000 in here because at that load of about 500 watts, you're running at that 92% efficiency, which is what these are platinum rated, so they're very economical on the electricity usage as well as dependable. And I've also got enough room if, and I don't think I'll do this, but if I ever go SLI, I'll be able to go ahead and do that with the 1000 watt power supply. So that's something you want to think about in your build if you're doing it, is give yourself a little bit of headroom so that your power supply is not bottlenecking. That would be a horrible thing to have bottleneck, but right now these are almost impossible to get a hold of because of the crypto miners. That's what we're going to be putting in this build. The case, I'm not talking about a lot because it's the Cooler Master half X, which is the exact same case that I went with in the 2016 build, and I've been very happy with it the last 2 years, and it was a no-brainer. For $179 I think I paid for this one. They run anywhere from that 169, 170 to 200, a little bit over 200. They get the job done, they don't break the bank too much, and full tower. And it's really nice to be able to have some features like the hot swap bays, which we've got hard drives mounted to, and some of the other things when you have two of the same case. So I'd like to kind of keep these around for a little while. Alright, well again, we built this on a Twitch live stream, so I will show you the time-lapse video of that. Thank you to all those that were able to come and hang out the couple hours that we put this together. Again, it's the second one we've done on live stream over at twitch.tv/Gunningamerz, and it was a lot of fun to build this with the community. So I'll show you that video, and then we'll come back and check out this thing running. folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse of the build. Again, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for everybody that was able to come hang out. But we want to go ahead and show this thing off, firing up. Now, I have gone ahead and installed the Windows already and got a bunch of the stuff set up on this thing. So we are running the Windows 10 64-bit Pro, just like I do on my other systems. And you can see that the BIOS loading screen probably takes longer to, as far as the boot process goes, than actually loading Windows. And I can speed that up, but I don't mind it running through the tests and things like that it does. Again, folks, it's a nice and quiet computer. That's why I love these cases so much. You've got the 140mm fan that is run on temp control in here, so it's not even on right now. You've got the 200 in the front here. You've got 200s on top, 2 of them, along with the 2 140s at the bottom of the radiator, which are right there. 140 in the back, and then there'll be a 200 on the side when we put the side of the case on. There's that beautiful 1080 Ti, and you can see the RGB lighting is crazy on this. There's quite a bit. I'm not too big into that myself, but it does look nice, and I've got it all set to white lighting, and it seems to kind of have a little bit of a blue hue, which is okay because we've got the blue case fans. Now, if I could have, I would have went with the white fans or a white fan, but I can't find any white fans out there. I found a few 140s. They were quite expensive, and they did not look very good. And then as far as the 200s, there was nothing. So we went ahead and just went with the blue again. We've got the RAM sticks here, and they kind of do like a, I don't know what you want to call that, a pulsate, where they start at one end and go to the other. Right now they're kind of flashing all over, but it's just a nice little touch. Little lighting here and there. Lights everything up real nice. All of the cables are hidden away nicely behind the plastic cover there. Nothing too special as far as the case goes, but I definitely do like that it is a nice solid black inside. I do have 8 slots for RAM, so if I ever wanted to go up to 64, I could just get 4 more sticks, but I highly doubt that'll be happening, because I just don't see that being necessary in the next 4 years. And one last thing before we get our head out of this case here, I really like the quality of this graphics card, that they put this nice plate on here. And I also like that little, I don't know what it is, it's copper I'm guessing, but they've got that heat plate on there which actually helps dissipate the heat. And it does warm up quite a bit on here, so that's definitely a nice feature to have heat being able to dissipate through the top of the graphics card, as well as obviously through the fans and the heatsink. Now about the storage again, running a 6TB Western Digital Black right here. I've got a 4TB Western Digital Black right here, so we've got 10 terabytes of storage for videos and whatnot. The M.2 drive is actually hiding right behind this plate, and it's got its own little heatsink right on there, so that's a nice little place to have that tucked away right on the board. That's 1 terabyte, so we've got 11 terabytes right there. And then in here, and this is hard to do with one hand, right there we've got another 1 terabyte. And this drive here will be going back and forth between the 2 computers if I want to transfer some large video files or something when we're recording on the other computer. So the last feature that I'm super crazy about, and I highly recommend when you're looking at motherboards, if you can get one that has a lit I/O shield. This is my second one from Gigabyte. The 2016 build had this. When you're trying to fumble around back there, it's so nice to have everything laid out and very easy to read and very nicely lit. Alright, we've got the side of the case on. You can see this beautiful 200mm fan on the side that's blowing air into the system. So we basically have air coming in the front, the side, and exiting out the back and the top here. So I just wanted to go ahead and share this moment. If you guys love removing plastic wrap, there it is, folks. We've christened it. Now it's ready to go. I cannot wait to have all the hours of fun on this computer right here. So I want to thank everybody who has supported the community through our live streams, through viewing, all of our donations over there, our subscribers over there that help support us, as well as all of the folks over here on YouTube that have been so generous in watching the videos, giving us a thumbs up, and just coming and hanging out with us. and cheering us on. So thank you again for helping us get this computer built. I will be rolling out some videos here. It's a brand new year. We've got a brand new rig. I've even got brand new internet now, and the gig speeds are coming at the end of this year, so there's tons to be excited about. I know rendering and getting the videos done and uploading them to YouTube is going to be so much easier now with the new PC and the new internet. So don't forget to leave us a comment down below in the comment section. Let us know what you think. If you've got any questions on building your own rig as far as how to do it or what parts you should go with, please check out our links down below again, where we've got our Discord channel as well as our TeamSpeak. We've got plenty of folks that come by all the time and ask questions on what hardware they should be choosing. So we'd love to have you come by and get to know you. And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter so you know exactly when we go live on twitch.tv/Gunningamerz. Hope you all have a good day. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, take care.